Welcome back, everyone. This is our third and final event in our summer welcome series for the bioengineering first-year students and transfer students. This one is all about kind of navigating college and learning about all those resources that are out there that you just might not know about or that you've heard, but you heard it and there's like 3 hours worth of other stuff coming along. So we're just going to give it to you pretty quick, pretty short. And even if you don't use this stuff now, knowing that it exists is the big help. So knowing 2 years from now, when you're feeling kind of just overwhelmed with something, even if you're not feeling overwhelmed, just when you're like, wow, where can I get some help on this? Remember they exist. And then, you can contact me and I can point you wherever you need to go. So yes, third and final, we are recording this, so keep that in mind. We will edit out anybody's pictures on the bottom, but if you don't want your voice online, go ahead and just type it in the chat and we can read any questions or anything like that. Make sure you mute yourself if you are not talking. And other than that, we're good to go. So let's jump in. Our first speaker tonight is Dr. Courtney Burkine with the she's the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Education, and I don't remember beyond that with your title, so I apologize.
Listen, you don't have to. I mean, they get longer every year. Senior Associate Dean of Undergraduate Education, but Courtney is just fine. That is more than sufficient.
So she's going to tell us all about Graduation Help Desk, Student Success Center, and a couple other really useful things. So I'm just going to pass her right on over. So welcome, Courtney. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ben. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate short, quick intros and getting right to business. So I did warn Ben, for students who watch this real time or watch the recording, that this time of year our brains are so mushy. I did write some notes so that I don't forget anything. So I'm sorry if I'm looking down, but it's in your best interest that you get the information you need. First, we're so excited to have a really wonderful big cohort of BMIN students here at UT Dallas. So we're grateful that you chose to join our UTD family. So Ben asked that I share a couple of different resources with you all. So I will highlight those and I'll be posting some things in the chat. I'll try to do it while I talk, but I'll share more after as well. So specifically our office, the Office of Undergraduate Education, you might hear the acronym OUE. We have some resources that might be of value to you this first year or maybe later during your academic tenure here at UTD. We manage a lot of not so exciting stuff, from policy and supporting the coordination of academic advising to student success data analytics and other things not so relevant to your daily lives. But the things that are relevant to you, if you take away anything from this presentation, we were joking about sharing our emails with students, which I'll put in the chat, is a resource called the Graduation Help Desk. You're like, I'm not graduating, doesn't apply to me. But this is more what we're calling our pun to Path to Graduation Help Desk. It's a one-stop shop for assistance that you might need on any topic, quite literally. That's not me being dramatic, to get your attention. If you don't know where to go, or you don't know who to ask, or you experience an academic or a personal issue that's negatively impacting your ability to stay enrolled, complete your degree, or succeed in class, simply email graduationhelpdesk@utdallas.edu. I'll put it in the chat for you. And you will see us soon on a public channel within the new UT Dallas mobile app as well. So you can post questions there on that online forum too. So that'll be really exciting for you. So how many of you remember learning about the Student Success Center during orientation, whether it was in one of the modules or a little video or with your OL? I'll look in the chat and see how many tell me if they know it just enough to be dangerous about the Student Success Center. But that's in the Office of Undergraduate Education too. So honestly, something I love the most about UT Dallas is how there is zero shame and stigma about using every resource available to you to be academically successful. We go to conferences and we hear some schools, they're like, oh, our students are so worried about, how it'll look if they go use tutoring. Our students are like, I'm getting a 4.0 and they go use anything, or I'm getting a 3. Whatever it is. And so no shame. The Student Success Center, acronym SSC, you might hear that, is your source for all things academic course support and academic success coaching, and it is free to all students. Let that sink in. So as of this minute, how the world in which we live right now, they are going to be all in-person services this fall semester, which they're super excited to return to. Their website, I'll post it in the chat as well, has all of their course support and their key dates posted. The upcoming one that you need to be aware of is August 30th from 4 to 6 p.m. You can go kind of see the physical space, which is nice after you figure out where your classes are, to see where the Student Success Center is. You might be using to support you in those classes. But you can go meet the leaders too, which are peers hired to work in the Student Success Center. So it's a good way to get a good eye on that job too. So I'll post that in the chat. The next kind of resource I want to highlight from the Office of Undergraduate Education is our Common Sense program. So I don't know how you all feel, but it can be intimidating to think about how to strategically make every dollar go as far as possible and ensuring about your borrowing, if you are using any loans or considering loans during your education, or if you just want what we now call super fancy jargon is a micro credential, because they offer what's called the Smart About Money certification, which might look good on your resume. So Common Sense can support you in any money matter and offers a variety of services. And I do want to mention they offer scholarships raffles like at some of their events. So keep that in mind. We do recognize as an institution the financial impacts of COVID on students and families have not gone away. And so we are being conscious of that. And I'll post about some of their upcoming events that are super exciting for this fall term in the chat as well, and a link to their booking so that you can make an appointment. Also on kind of that same theme of supporting you as a person, because we understand how important that is to your academic success as well. It goes hand in hand and we care about you more than just your academics, is the Comet Cupboard. That's our on-campus food pantry. So if you are looking for a volunteer opportunity, or if you or your family unit ever experience temporary or persistent food insecurity, keep the Comet Cupboard in mind. It can be, hey, I don't have time to go get groceries. Family's counting on me to bring home food today. You've been with a study group, swing by the Comet Cupboard. Again, best thing about UT Dallas, no stigma. Do what you got to do to be successful. That is what we're all about. Be loud and proud about it, or serve your peers by volunteering in the Comet Cupboard. You can find it on that Engage UTD app and through the Office of Student Volunteerism. Click on that, search Comet Cupboard, and you can sign up to be a trained volunteer. It is student run, so it's a really great opportunity. We also oversee other student success programs that Ben wanted me to just briefly mention, including our freshman and transfer mentor programs. So if you're not participating as a new student in those programs, I strongly encourage you to consider after you kill it in your first year to apply to serve as a mentor. You get so much rich experience in that program, so much great leadership development in that program to talk about in interviews for different internships and things like that. Really great experience. Also, we have minority student success programs in my area. So if you're an African American, Native American Indian, Hispanic student, Asian Pacific Islander, and you're interested in finding a supportive community, we might have programs for you, or we can connect you to our multicultural center partners and collaborators as well. Reach out to me directly for those opportunities. Okay, Ben, I don't know how many students we have on the call, but I do want anyone to post in the chat if you are going to be first in your family, you or your siblings, if you have any, to complete a 4-year degree in the United States. So if you are first in your family to complete a 4-year degree in the United States, let me know. Be proud to be first generation. That's called being first generation. And we have programming for that in the Office of Undergraduate Education, managed by me and my team. So keep an eye out for emails, e-learning groups. Our mobile app will have a channel in there for you too. So keep an eye on our social media too. I'll post in the chat our website so you can connect with us on social media. But we hope that you engage with the Office of Undergraduate Education at some point during your first year at UT Dallas. But that's all I had to share, Ben. I'll keep an eye on the chat though for any questions, okay?
Sorry, my mouse is moving slow. Thank you very much.
No problem. I get it.
Yeah, and we first gens, we stick together, so definitely. Actually, it sounds a little cultish when I say it like that, but definitely. The resources are here to use it. That's gonna be one of the recurring themes for tonight, is these are here to be used. And Courtney's absolutely right about there being no stigma, no judgment. It is you do what you need to do to get that 4.0 or whatever great GPA you get, but do what you need to do to be successful. That's why all of this is here. So are there any questions for Courtney? We do the awkward wait. We'll see if anybody's typing. All right. Well, Courtney, thank you very much for joining us tonight and covering all of that great stuff. You will actually be with us again here in a few minutes because we're going to play the video of your talk with the financial aid here.
Convenient.
So
Perfect.
you're all over even when you're not here. So thank you. And now we have our next guest joining us here. So this is Ron Venable. He is with Student Accessibility. And Ron, welcome. And I'll let you please take it away. Tell us all about it.
Sure, thanks a lot. Is everybody hearing me okay? Sounds good? Okay. Well, I'm the Assistant Director at the Office of Student Accessibility, and we work with students with a wide range of qualifying medical and psychological diagnoses that require some adjustments on campus. And I really like to talk about reducing the stigma, because as you guys may know, for years, it was kind of tough for people to ask for help when they have a disability, especially depression, anxiety. You know, there was a big stigma attached with those sorts of diagnoses, especially for disabilities you can't see. I've been doing this over 20 years now, and I'm really happy to say that every year when we track this data, the numbers of students who had disabilities that were invisible, those diagnoses that sometimes are labeled psychiatric diagnoses, well, every year that went up and up and up. And when we researched this, we found that the biggest thing that increased that was the fact that overall the stigma was being reduced. People were getting help. Faculty were telling students about offices like ours and the counseling center. And people just weren't suffering in silence anymore like, well, folks had always done, frankly. So that's a good thing. We're happy to see that stigma is being reduced, and we want to continue that here at UT Dallas. And we do that by providing recommendations to professors to make those academic adjustments and accommodations for students who document their disabilities. We require students to have their treating professionals fill out a form. And once we have that form, we process it through an eligibility committee. And then that committee will make recommendations for accommodations the students can bring to their professors. And then the professors get to decide if those are reasonable for their classes. And in most cases, they go with our recommendations, but it's important to know that all three parties need to be involved in that process. I'm often asked what are the most common accommodations we recommend, and the number one by far is a little more time to take exams. That, as you can imagine, is important for a wide range of different types of limitations that can come along with disabilities. Our students who are blind are going to need longer because they may be using digital formats of Braille. Students with attention deficit disorder may have trouble focusing and concentrating, so it can take them more time. Students who have the side effects of any kind of physical condition like chronic pain. We see a lot of veterans and head injuries. So extra time is huge. And then if you get more time, you're going to need to take the test probably in an alternate location. So we help coordinate that with the campus, and we do provide a small testing capacity in our office for students who need adaptive technologies like screen readers for students who are blind. So yeah, more time on testing location. And then after that, we do a lot of suggestions on how students can supplement their note taking, whether it's using audio recorders, just the apps on the phone. Now the smart pens are real popular. Those are super cool gadgets. If you've never seen one before, basically they're a pen that you write with that has a built-in voice recorder, and it syncs up what you're writing on the page with the pen with the audio that's being presented in the class. So you can take the pen and point at what you wrote on a page, and it starts playing back the speaker's voice from that exact point of the lecture. Excellent tool for anybody, not just a person with a disability. But the smart pens, again, they're made by a company called LiveScribe, and the first generation ones you can buy them used for around $100. They still work pretty well. So then there's also just a volunteer note taker, somebody in class who volunteers to take notes and take a picture of their notes or make copies and then email them to the student who needs a note-taking supplement. After note-taking, probably things like asking professors to make sure a student has a seat in their preferred area of the class, usually down front, so that they can get in and out. Taking short breaks if they have medical conditions and need to go take their meds or inject some insulin. That's a pretty common recommendation. Then our students on the autism spectrum. We have one of the largest populations of students with Asperger's and autism in the country. And we do a lot to try to connect them with social skills programs. Our friends over at the NeuroSkill Center for Brain Health, they have programs, and so does the Collegiate Center. But we do a lot of one-on-one with those students, coaching them on optimal communication styles. And then, of course, they'll get some of the other standard accommodations. So almost any physical or mental condition that creates a substantial impediment to major life activities that's of long duration can qualify as a disability. It's not just a broken arm or the flu or even COVID. If COVID was to wrap up quickly, it would not necessarily be considered a disability. The long haulers, yeah, that's probably going to qualify. But yeah, to be a disability, it has to be a permanent condition or one that's at least long duration, like around 6 months. So if students think they may have a disability or have a friend who might, what I usually suggest is that, especially for faculty, it's a sensitive subject, and you might want to refer the person by showing them some websites or some handouts, some brochures from offices like ours, the Counseling Center, and just suggest that you've seen some students who have benefited from the accommodations and might want to come visit us and check us out. It's certainly, again, something that is used so regularly now. We're serving over 1,000 students a semester. The stigma is greatly reduced, and it's nice to see that people are, coming and making contacts with us and looking for these accommodations, because it's just natural. Nobody's going to tell a person who uses a wheelchair they can't use a ramp. Well, the accommodations we're recommending for students who have the concentration, focus, and other conditions due to medical or psychiatric issues, those accommodations are just like the ramps for them, and that's how it's viewed a lot more these days. Anyway, that's pretty much an overview of what we do. We're located in the administration building, room 2.224. I'm Ron at UT Dallas, just RON at UT Dallas. If you guys want to get in touch with me or think of any questions later, if we got time, I'd be happy to answer some now. Anybody has any?
I'm jealous of your email address.
Yes.
Do we have any questions? I will say the reason that I invited student accessibility is because it is so much, I don't even want to say easier, it's so much better as a faculty when students are able to find and let us know early about accommodations. It's so much easier to work with, and the results tend to be so much better for the students. So there's absolutely no stigma about it. Let us know so we can help you. It's all about that. All right. Well, Ron, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And our next guest is already up, so thank you. All right. Our next guest is Dr. Prachi Sharma, joining us from the Counseling Center. So welcome, and I'll turn it right back over to you now.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much for inviting me to this forum. It's certainly, I want to give a shout out to Ron for sharing more about mental health and our services. So certainly wanted to talk a little bit about the Counseling Center. So welcome, student. We are so excited that you're joining our UTD community, and just wanted to take a few minutes right now to talk about the Student Counseling Center as you embark on this academic journey. So as Ben shared, my name is Dr. Prachi Sharma. I'm the Assistant Director of Community Engagement. I'm also a licensed psychologist. So just wanted to kind of talk to you all a little bit about just mental health and, how some of the difficulties that you all might experience. So just giving some stats out here, about 20 to 25% of students at either undergraduate or graduate level could report difficulties with their mental health. So it is not very uncommon to, at some point in your academic career here, that you might, deal with some kinds of difficulties related to your mental health. So just wanted to kind of encourage all of you to seek out services. That's exactly the reason that why we are here on campus, to really support your mental health. Wanted to share our motto with you before I get into what services that we offer. So we are an office dedicated to providing services and support and for mental health needs of our UTD students. We hold a strong commitment to providing a safe, inclusive space for all students and ensure equitable and inclusive mental health services to the UTD student body. So we really, strive and work very hard on creating an equitable space where students of all identities are welcome. Something that not a lot of students know about our services is that we are free and confidential with a few exceptions. So free in terms of like you don't pay any extra money to access us, and with confidentiality, pretty much everything that you will talk about within our center stays within our center. Only exceptions could be around if you're worried about like your safety of others, if there's abuse or neglect, so then there is like legal and ethical reasons for us to have to share that information. But otherwise, it completely stays within our center, and we don't share information with anyone. And to just name a few services that we offer. So a lot of times when students think about mental health services, like the first thing we think about is the individual therapy. And certainly we offer that, but we also wanted to give today I wanted to give a shout out to our workshops and groups program. That is a pretty robust programming that we do in terms of we offer groups for students are just sort of drop-in spaces. So these could be identity-based, or you can also get groups that run throughout the semester where students can really sort of connect with each other. And we try to, we also offer workshops that are more related to some of the most common concerns that students deal with. So it could be depression, anxiety, relationship issues, stress. And now, as we are kind of dealing with COVID, we are also thinking about like the trauma and the grief that, we all have sort of experienced in the last year and a half. So all of that is part of some of the services that we offer. We also have psychiatry services. So if you have been on medications before or are considering medications, certainly reach out to us. We have referral services, so we can certainly get you connected with somebody out in the community if you're looking for that. The easiest way to get in touch with us would be through just like you could quickly email us. Our turnaround time is pretty good. So as long as we're open, we can kind of get back to you in about 3 minutes. So you can email us at counselingcenter@utdallas.edu, and I will leave these links that I'm talking about in our chat. You can also find up-to-date information on our website. I will also link that. And also to let you know, like for fall semester at least, we will be providing all of our services virtually. So easiest way to kind of get in touch with us. You wouldn't even have to make, a walk to our building or to campus, if that's, not accessible to you right now. So just wanted to share that. Yes, we will be providing all services virtually, and we're getting good feedback from students that it seems to have been working really well. I will certainly, we'll take a minute if you want to have any questions, want to take those. But just, really wanted to encourage all of you to reach out to our center. There's so many services that we offer, and we would, love to serve you. So I'll pause here quickly. Any questions for me? Okay.
So while anybody might be typing that, absolutely right now is probably one of the most stressful times I think I've ever seen for this university with COVID and all of the uncertainty. So on top of all the normal stresses, it's just great to be able to talk to somebody sometimes. So definitely a service worth checking into. And another just kind of quick note is that there are some things that when you talk to your faculty, we are required to report that they are not required to report. Am I saying that right?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah, you can talk to us about anything that's related to the university or otherwise. Your professor can call us, your roommate can call you. We will not be talking, and we would just say, we don't even know who you're talking about. So it completely stays confidential within our center.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
Yes, thank you, Ben, so much for inviting me, and I'll hang around and answer any questions if they pop up in the chat. Thank you.
Great, thank you much. Our next speaker is with us is Jacqueline Paredes. Did I say the last name right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, you're good. She is joining us from Addiction and Recovery. So, Jacqueline, I'll let you take it over now.
Thank you, and forgive me for the little grunts in the background. It's my daughter. She's rocking herself to sleep. So, yeah, it's getting close to her bedtime. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through this real quickly. So my name is Jacqueline Paredes Aarons. I am the Administrative Project Coordinator for the Center for Students in Recovery. I actually work alongside our licensed clinician, who is Jeremy Ike, and he is the one who does our one-on-one session. So I'm going to just kind of jump right into it. Our center is actually under the Student Counseling Center umbrella. So we are a portion of the Student Counseling Center. We just kind of have our own space on campus. The purpose of our space is to basically have a little bit of a safe space and community on campus for students who are going through recovery or in recovery or thinking about recovery, to kind of have a safe space on campus, once again, I say, to help integrate back into the university lifestyle while in recovery as well. So one of the major things that we offer, similar to the sessions that the counseling center has, Jeremy Ike is a collegiate recovery manager, and he is also licensed. So he, once again, like I said, does the one-on-one sessions with students in regards to recovery planning. So if you are wanting to kind of get on a different type of path or different behaviors or break certain behaviors that you currently have, you can always meet with him and discuss planning for that. Other than that, we also have the peer-led support group. So similar to Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous, eating disorder recovery, we have those type of support groups here on campus for students as well. So typically, similar to the stigma with recovery and addiction, it is something that in the CSR, we strive to definitely break. We want to have our students know and understand that we are there for them for whenever they need the services. They are completely free for the students. You have to be an enrolled UTD student in order to be able to access the resources at our center. But we have those for the students who are currently enrolled, as well as the transferring coming in students. The support groups that I mentioned are peer-led by our student workers who are either identify as recovery allies or are in recovery themselves. We do kind of a interview screening to ensure that, you know, they understand what recovery is and addiction and how that communication is different than any other student. Give me just one moment, sorry. Sorry, I'm back.
No problem at all.
And so aside from the one-on-one sessions, we also have a, we do volunteer opportunities. So we've done some volunteering at animal shelters. So if students need any kind of volunteer hours, we can definitely help out with that. We've also done the cleanup on the side of the highway for Adopt a Highway. And we are currently looking into, you know, that was obviously pre-COVID, but looking into possibly doing some more volunteer opportunities for the students as the campus opens back up. Aside from that, we also do our big recovery month. So September is our National Recovery Month, and we do tons of different events for Recovery Month. We are currently scheduled to have students in recovery panel. So it's going to be just a bunch of different students that we have who are in recovery or currently wanting to start recovery, kind of, you know, give a little bit of their background and their story and what they have gone through and, you know, trials and tribulations kind of thing. So that's kind of neat. And then we're also going to do every Thursday, starting the second Thursday of September, we will be having a bring your own brown bag discussion lunch. So we'll have guest speakers from our gender center. We have another speaker from the wellness center coming in, our dietitian. We have Matt from the Gender Center, as I mentioned, coming in to discuss LGBT and recovery. And just keep in mind that recovery in our center definitely does not just mean substance usage disorder with alcohol or drugs. We are discussing eating disorders, recovering from eating disorders. We are discussing trauma, recovering from trauma. We're discussing all kinds of different recovery, not just one category. So. But I won't go on too long. Other than that, we do work a lot side by side with the counselors in the counseling center, once again, as I mentioned, and with the wellness center. We tend to do a lot of different collaborations with them as well. So if y'all have any questions, always feel free to contact us. I will put the information in the chat. It's recovery@UT Dallas. And if you want to schedule one-on-one sessions, you can always reach out there, or you can reach out directly to either mine or Jeremy's email, and I'll put those in there as well. We are located in the SSB 4.5, so we're on the 4th floor, right across from the counseling center. Any questions for me so far? I know it's a lot. You've got a lot of speakers today, but they're all great speakers. So. All right, and it is anonymous. If any student wants to kind of just reach out and get some information, or someone who is struggling with recovery, then you can always get some information as well. So, all right.
Thank you very, very much. Have a good remainder of your night. It's good seeing a little baby, fuzzy baby head.
Thank you. Yeah, she started getting a little fussy. So.
Well, have a good night. Thank you.
You.
All right, our next speaker is Dr. Lee Aubry. She is director of, I'm not sure if the director is right, but she is the leader of the Student Health Center. It's always a good fallback. She's been most busy lately with doing a lot of town halls and all sorts of meetings. So we're going to drag her out for one more. So welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to UT Dallas. We're so excited about having you guys on campus this fall, and just excited about what this fall semester is going to bring. Again, as Ben said, my name is Dr. Lee Aubry. I am the director of the Student Health Center. So I oversee the management of the health center. I also oversee the management of the student health insurance program. And then just an easy way that I always explain to students is the Student Health Center acts as a family care practitioner's office, so like a family clinic. And you, as a currently enrolled UTD student, have access to the health center because you pay a medical service fee each semester. And for the most part, your visit is going to be free. The only time there is a fee that you incur would be if there is a blood draw, if you're dispensing medicine, or if there is some other additional things that need to be taken care of. We also do suturing, so there is a minimal fee for that. For many of you, if you do have the university-sponsored student health insurance program policy, any services you get done in the student health center are covered at 100%. We don't currently file outside insurance just because I've experienced being a college student, so has been many other people, and we know that there's definitely a limited budget. And so always keeping that in mind, we definitely want to make our services as affordable as possible. Once a year, we offer free flu vaccines. If you are needing a physical for something, just to give you an idea of what the cost would be associated to that with that, say you're getting blood work, for the most part, you're only going to pay $20, where outside of a college setting, it could be upwards of a couple of $100 or more. So always, just keeping in mind the affordability and accessibility of services. In addition to the services that we offer in the health center, so to be similar, like immunizations, lab testings, just a regular checkup, not feeling well. In light of what we have right now in the pandemic, just some additional things that we are doing in the health center, or roles that we've taken on. There is a university effort right now with COVID testing. I'm pretty sure you received an email about the testing that will be going on the first 3 weeks of school and on going throughout the semester. That's free of charge. In addition, the Student Health Center, the university, we've partnered with Walmart to offer a free pop-up COVID vaccine clinic that's going to take place on August 22nd. And this is during convocation, just ideal location where there's going to be a lot of students and those that are needing or looking for a first or second vaccine. That's going to be available free of charge. Definitely walk up. I'll be there with a UTD, a Vax UTD t-shirt on, just really trying to encourage students to get vaccinated for those that are wanting it. And again, like I said, that's free of charge. And then we're also extending that to faculty, staff, and the public. As I said early on, we don't normally provide services we only provide services to currently enrolled students. And so this is one of these programs or events, should I say, that we're going to do that's going to be open to everyone in the UTD community. So we'll have a pop-up clinic on August 22nd. And then there will be a follow-up on August 25th. The one on the 22nd will take place in the VCB atrium of between the Activity Center and the bookstore. On the 25th, the event will take place on the lower level of the Student Union, and it's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then September 15th, Walmart will be back to take care of those second doses for those individuals that need it. And again, open to the UTD community and the public. And one of the questions that I've been getting recently, just with the news that's coming from CDC, is will we be offering the third dose? Unfortunately, right now, I don't believe we are doing that. And I say that because this is Walmart will be administering the vaccine. And initially, when this was put together, it was just really an effort to provide back the first and second dose. And something that's really neat, if you have not heard that the university is doing, they have an incentive program. So you, as a student, could earn $125 for getting vaccinated. And again, I just want to reiterate there are no mandates for the university for students to be vaccinated. We highly encourage you to wear a mask. We highly encourage you to get vaccinated. Again, just as a way to protect yourselves, your families, your friends, your classmates, and faculty. And so it is a way for us to just really try to have a healthy campus as we try to return to a pre-COVID space, although we're not pre-COVID, but just really looking at all the necessary precautions that have been in place to keep everyone safe. And so if you have questions about COVID or vaccinations, please feel free to call the Student Health Center. Again, again, we are taking precautions as well. So one of the things we implemented during the pandemic is virtual appointments. And so that's a nice way for you not to have to walk all the way over to the health center. What you can do is log on to the Student Health Center webpage, and there is a link there that says schedule an appointment. So if you're needing TB screening, if you're needing vaccinations, if you're just wanting a checkup, well woman, STD testing, like I said, there's a variety of services that we offer. You can definitely do that through the portal. There are some visits that do not warrant you to come in. So it's pretty cool that you can do that virtually from your apartment and, you know, in a safe space that's private. You can take care of that. But if you do need that additional in-person care, we are making provisions for that. So you'll arrive to the health center, let them know you're there, and we let you in. Again, just making sure that we don't get bombarded by students coming in, because we want to keep this space as safe and as sterile as possible. And as Prachi mentioned before, we're on the 4th floor, and we think about your mental health, your physical health. And so there's definitely a lot of collaboration that takes place between all of our areas. And again, you know, we're one UTD, and it is about taking care of our students. And as I mentioned before, we're excited to have you back on campus, and we're trying to make provisions for you all to return in the safest way. So any questions that you may have, please visit our website. Please call the health center. And again, we'll respond and give you an answer to the best of our ability. And I just want to say thank you for having me tonight. And I'm pretty sure you'll see me in other different spaces, whether it be live or in person, waving people down to get vaccinated or answer any COVID-related questions.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That's another one of those services I wish I had known about when I was an undergraduate. Actually, so that's pretty much how I put this together. Was I thought about everything I wish I had known, and we just built it. So you guys, you're learning from my mistakes. Thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us. Any questions from anyone? A few seconds, pause. All right. Well, our next speaker, Samhita Bhatt, is with us. She is here to talk about student organizations. So take it away.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to have you all and a very good evening. And thank you so much for letting me speak today. So I am Samhita Bhatt and I am the student coordinator of SOC, also known as the Student Organization Center. And we are a bunch of amazing people who are helping you find your home on campus. And we are led by Tennille. And basically, I think one of the best part of university is to get involved in campus. And we are here to help you with just that. And there are many reasons why you have to get involved on campus. I literally have a list of it. So one of them being you get to learn more about yourself, you get to develop soft skills, you learn how to work with the team, you get leadership skills, and you also get to engage with diverse set of students outside your classroom as well. And more than everything, you're going to have a lot of fun. So I think this is enough to let you all know that it is very important to get involved on campus. Now, if you want to know how you can get involved on campus and what kind of organizations you want to join, we have a portal to help you with that. You can just, sign in this QR code and see what you like. And I'm sure you're going to find something interesting there because that's where I found all of my favorite clubs. And I'm excited for you all to find yours as well. Now, I know it can get overwhelming with all the many number of organizations on campus. We actually have about 400 organizations on campus led by students for students. So you can only imagine how vast that is. We have everything from dance, music, politics, I don't know, name it, and we have it. So if you're a little overwhelmed with which organization you want to join and you need help, we are going to help you with just that. All you have to do is see the QR code and fill in the form, and we're going to personally make sure that you get the organization that you want. And you can also find us on social media. Make sure you follow us everywhere. And more than everything, I am so happy to have you all. So SOC has many programs and services throughout the year that help you all. We help, in helping student organizations run more efficiently. We also help in various leadership retreats and training. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions and want to know more about how you want to get involved, you can always reach out to me. I'll also send in a couple of messages now. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you. I think it's really important to let you all know that we really focus on BMES a lot because that's our student chapter of our main professional organization. But as she said, there's like over 400 student organizations on campus, and there's nothing saying that you just need to be a member of one. So try them out, go see what's out there, network, get to know your other fellow students. So thank you very much. All right. I think that takes us to what will be our last speaker, but unfortunately, so the financial aid the representatives were not able to join us directly, but we do have a video that they have pre-recorded actually with Courtney, who we met earlier. So I'm going to share that and we'll go through it. And this is financial aid, but we are focusing a lot more on, well, I was going to say financial assistance, but that is what financial aid means. So I'm not going to say that. So hang on a second, let me get this sharing. All right, can you all see that okay? Can I get a thumbs up?
I can see it.
It wasn't a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Here we go.
Generation student supporters from the Office of Financial Aid, and I will let her introduce herself and a little bit about her role.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Metz. I am the supervisor of the counseling team here at UT Dallas in the financial aid office. So my team, along with the customer service team, is who you get when you call in to ask questions, email us when we're able to see students. We're the ones you're seeing.
That's perfect. That's such a valuable role. So tell us a little bit about, in general terms, kind of about all the services offered in the Office of Financial Aid.
Sure. So we handle all of the federal and state financial aid. So if you're applying for FAFSA or TASPA, we're the ones who kind of help you through that process and make sure that you're getting all of the aid that you're eligible to receive. We also do verification. So there's times where you need to submit documentation to our office. So we'll verify all of the information that's on those FAFSA and TASFA applications. We have a part of our department that works specifically with veteran benefits. And we have, we kind of like house all of the scholarships. While we don't offer the scholarships, we are the ones who provide you access to that scholarship list, which is posted on our website, give you the access to the school's scholarship web pages as well. And then we're the ones who are actually adding those onto your account to make sure that everything's there properly.
Yeah, that was a really great summary. It is true that when I tell students, oh, have you met with your financial aid counselor? They're like, what? And it seems too good to be true that every student and basically in kind of every family has their own dedicated financial aid counselor. Because you talk a little bit, like give a couple of examples of how a family can help us reinforce recommending their student meet with someone like you?
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any specific questions about your file, we have broken down by ALPA. So according to your last name, you have a set counselor. And that's really helpful, especially so that you have someone that knows your situation, that you have a connection with. And we're absolutely willing to sit down with you and work with you to make sure that you have everything that you need.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you for that. So families, please encourage a student, if they ever have questions or you have questions, to contact that dedicated financial aid counselor, because that's a really valuable resource on campus. And I'm so glad that you mentioned kind of the repository that you guys have and the big scholarship database that you maintain, because it does have both institutional scholarships, which are those offered by the university, different departments, different programs. And you also have really great links to external scholarship opportunities for students too. And it provides deadlines and important information there. And you all do come do a presentation for us for first generation students on tips about essays, letters of recommendation, and when to apply, which is typically early in the spring, in February, March, when some of those start opening up for those spring deadlines. So next, just any tips that you might have for families to ensure that they're maximizing their financial aid that they have available at the institution, from everything from different types of aid to even not aid programs like loans and things of that nature. Any tips?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're completing your application, it does need to be completed every year. And it opens typically in October 1st, both the TASFA and the FAFSA. So while that seems really quick, definitely pay attention to that opening deadline, because you want to get your applications in as soon as possible, because some of our funding is limited and finite. So when it's out, it's out. So to maximize the amount of financial aid that you're eligible for and that you can receive, definitely get that application in before that deadline.
Yeah,
in January, I believe, is our deadline.
Yeah, that's correct. That's a really good tip, because I know for me as a first generation student, and my mom had done her associate's degree, but we mostly paid out of pocket for that. And when I was going and, we were told when we met with financial aid, I was just a couple $100 out of receiving aid, and we were defeated, and, it just increased working. I didn't know you could reapply every year. And so that's something that I wish, I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Of course you can. Your finances change, your employment status changes. So what are some other important financial aid related things that you think families specifically should know as they help their student transition this coming fall for the first semester, and thinking moving forward? Like that early October deadline, it's weird to be applying in October for the next year already when you've only been here 2 months. That's real life.
Definitely is. I would say even if you think you won't receive any financial aid, to go ahead and complete those applications, because there's going to be some type of financial aid available to you. If you're FAFSA eligible, you'll still be eligible for those federal loans, even if you're not grant eligible. So go ahead and complete that application. Some of the scholarships will require that you have that application on file. So it's just a good idea to get that submitted, regardless of whether you think you're going to qualify. You also want to make sure that you're keeping your grades up. We will, we'll check your financial aid eligibility by looking at your grades and your completion at the end of every semester. And we will be sending you notifications, letting you know where you are in that process. which is another big thing. Don't ignore the emails that you're getting from our office. We send you emails with a purpose, so they're going to go to your UT Dallas email address. So definitely be checking that as well.
Yeah, that's really good, for families to reinforce the importance of staying on top of email inbox, which you and I both know can be its own full-time job. And if you've ever seen one of your student workers' email inbox, so parents, families, just know that your students' UTD email inbox will get crazy, will get crowded, will get a lot of things, but to make sure that they're checking it regularly and curating it for obviously first generation student programs. Okay, not only kidding on that one, really, because we'll send emails about a lot of different things, but if you see financial aid at or the bursar at or registrar records, those are really important pieces of communication, and we want to make sure your students reading. They can also check those emails and communications from their Galaxy Center. So they have a communications tab and they have a to-do list. We call them tiles because they look like little squares on their student account. We'll try to demo that in another video for you all. But that's where a student can see important things like if, Sarah's team needs a verification, which is a process required sometimes to get financial aid applications moving, they'll put that in there too. So they'll send an email notice, but they'll also put it in the student's to-do list in what we call Galaxy, and they can see that through that tile online. So yeah, that is really important. Sorry, before I forget, also you mentioned timing a few times and how important it is to stay informed about timing. And we've already talked to families when we were speaking to Lisa Davis about, that second page of the academic calendar, payment refund deadlines and things like that. So when can families, if they have reviewed their financial award package, contacted you all if needed to answer any questions, what can they actually expect to have their funds applied and receive any refunds they might be expecting to?
Yeah, that's definitely a really good point. When you've accepted all of your financial aid, whatever you've accepted for the semester will disperse on the first day of class. So that seems a little late and kind of scary, but that's our normal process. You'll see those funds applied to your bursar's office balance on that first day of class. And if you have any excess funding that wasn't paid towards your tuition or your dorm or your meal plan, that'll get released to you that first week of school. So definitely make sure that you've set up your Easy Pay so that you can get that direct deposited and get it as soon as possible. But it'll probably be that first week, maybe even week and a half before you actually receive the funding.
Yeah, that's great. And we do have Easy Pay defined in our jargon dictionary on our website, but you can reference this presentation with your student or search it from the UTD webpage. That's the portal where you go to log in and pay your bills and set up direct deposit and stuff like that. So really helpful interface, online interface there too, because families can have a delegated role and log in for that software piece. Also, I think, I don't know, Sarah, I feel like those are the biggest things. And if she had.
Okay, so we scalped that video. It was actually meant for, as you could tell, a slightly different group, but the information applies all the same. And one thing I would add is don't be afraid to go out looking for these smaller scholarships. There are hundreds of ones that are out there for a couple $100, $500. Those add up pretty quick, and those often don't have nearly as many applicants. So it's a good place to go and check out to get some more scholarships for you. All right, I think that takes us through all of our presentations for tonight. Do we have any questions from anyone? It's feeling like a no. All right. Katie, do we have a link for today?
Yes, I am posting that in the chat right now.
Awesome.
So yeah, so we have a survey. It's an anonymous survey. And so if our attendees tonight, or if you're watching this video after the fact, can complete the survey, it just gives us some feedback so that we can create better, adapt our content to your needs. So it just asks a couple of questions, quick survey. So we'd really appreciate the feedback. So I'll post that in the chat shortly. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Well, and so that'll do it for this year's summer series of our first year welcomes. So looking forward to seeing you all in class. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a good weekend.